But the dream was, really, can I take these 3 months off and still make money and still have my business thrive and not be in a place where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to spend the next year catching up because I took these 3 months off? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of the Master the Media podcast. I'm your host, Amy Gorin, and I'm so excited to be with you here. This is my first episode back from maternity leave, so I have a lot to talk about today. Before we dive in, and we're going to be talking about having a maternity leave when you're an entrepreneur and having a really successful maternity leave and how that's possible. Before we dive into that, I just want to mention that we are going to be hosting a live and free masterclass, how to land $50,000 in paid brand partnerships in 6 months. We're going to be hosting this on October 22nd. That's a Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to grab your free spots are limited. Go to masterthemedia.co/masterclass. That's going to be in our show notes as well. So let's talk about maternity leave because first of all, I realized I think the last episode I recorded was when I was pregnant. So I haven't updated you guys on anything really. So my baby girl, Annabelle, was born on July 3rd, and she just is turning 3 months. And she's the sweetest girl. And I'm loving being a mother so much. Part of me honestly was a little afraid that I would feel overwhelmed trying to balance all aspects of life. And because I did plan so well for this new chapter of my life, I do feel like, and I'm sure there's going to be surprises, but I do feel like all the puzzle pieces are just moving really well, and I'm going to be able to juggle it as well as I can. And I do want to preface with, I do have help, which I know not everyone is able to do. We actually don't really have any family super close by, so we had to my husband and I, if we wanted to work, we had to figure out help. So we've had a night nanny since Annabelle came home from the hospital, and she's going to be staying with us just for like a tiny bit longer. And then we also, I went back to work this week. This is my first week back full time. And we decided to just dive in with a part-time nanny. So I actually never thought I'd be a parent who wanted to stay home with their kid, but turns out I am. And I just don't want to miss out on anything that's happening. She's literally changing every single day. So we have a nanny 3 days a week. And then my husband and I are home with her the rest of the time. And I think that's perfect because I can truly engage with her the days that I'm home. And then the days that we have the nanny, when I interviewed her, I was like, it's part of your job description that you have to be cool with me just coming in and like snuggling her and playing with her and kissing her. So I'm able to just pop in anytime that works really during the day, which is amazing. So I do want to dive deeper into, during future episodes on the whole being an entrepreneur, being a working woman, and having a kid, and how that all just, how to make that all work. But right now, what I want to talk about is my maternity leave. And, I'm talking about this after the fact because I just wanted to be sure everything actually did kind of go according to plan as much as possible. But I literally spent the last 3 years preparing for my maternity leave so that I could have a time where I could fully be present with my family and my business would survive, and not just survive, but actually thrive. And this has literally been what's happened. I was on maternity leave a little bit over 3 months. So I went right before I had Annabelle, and then I was off until she was 12 weeks old. And it truly was the most magical time. Like those first 2 weeks, my husband and her and I were just kind of like in this little bubble of just kind of, she was a little bit of a preemie, so she slept a lot, and we just got to like enjoy all that time with her. And then I wanted my business to be able to thrive as well. So in that first month after I was on during my maternity leave, we actually had 4 new students enroll in Master the Media, which I'm really excited about. And I'll kind of backtrack. So I set a lot of things in motion to be able to have a successful maternity leave. And those things were having the right staff to support me being absent during that time, making sure my students felt supported, and then also running promotions to make people excited about joining Master the Media while I was gone. And so I'll kind of go through all three of those things in more detail. So I have a business coach. Her name is Megan Wang, and we had been working very closely to get all of my ducks in a row before maternity leave. And like I said, this has been something I've been thinking about for several years and kind of just getting a lot of systems in place so that as much could be automated as possible. You know, when somebody enrolls in Master the Media, the emails that they get to welcome them into the program are automated. We have technology that automatically enrolls them in the program, things like that. So just getting all of that tech automated. So that was something that was kind of in the background over the last few years. But once that I knew I was pregnant, I was like, okay, I have 9 months to prepare and get myself and my business fully ready. And so my first priority was hiring staff just to have everything run smoothly, make sure that my students feel supported, because that's really the most important thing. And so I ended up, some of our amazing media coaches cover my regular coaching calls with the students. So every month we have weekly coaching calls for all of our students. We have monthly coaching calls for all of our non-nutritional professionals, just to make sure, you know, doctors and psychologists and nurse practitioners are all feel supported. And then we also have a monthly beginner coaching call. So I made sure that we had excellent coaches covering the students, being able to coach them, also being in our private Facebook community daily so that they would feel supported. So that was priority number one. The second priority was just, again, kind of in the same vein, like making sure that the students felt like they weren't missing out on anything by me not being there. And so I decided to give every single student who was enrolled at the time that I went on maternity leave, or who was a new enrollee, an extra 3 months in Master the Media. So Master the Media is a 6-month program. And when students graduate, they can stay on with us for as long as they want at a highly discounted rate. And so they get that continued coaching with our coaches to learn how to land media and brand partnerships. We facilitate a lot of that for them. So we bring daily opportunities to them to land those partnerships and to land media features. And so I gave every student an extra 3 months in the program. And it worked out really well. I just got updated on the successes that they had while I was away. And I mean, it's incredible. We actually have a new student who's in the UK, and she was featured in Martha Stewart, and she was really excited about that. We have one of our students who just landed over $20,000 in partnerships. We had another student who landed $15,000 in paid partnerships. And we had a lot of, I mean, I could just go on, but there's a lot of paid brand partnerships that happened while I was away, and a lot of amazing, amazing media features. And so I really do think that the students just feeling excited while I was away, not because I was away, of course, but just being excited to continue their momentum while I was away, was really, really important. And then the last thing is making sure that lead generation kept on, right? And so we still had, you know, our Facebook ads running. I prepared a lot of content before I went on maternity leave. And then we also ran that same promotion for new students, that they could grab 3 extra months in Master the Media if they enrolled it. Actually, we gave it a little bit of an extra time. I came back from maternity leave September 29th, and we ran that. We are actually currently running that promotion through October 15th. So if you're listening to this now and want to enroll, you get an extra 3 months in Master the Media. But that, I think that's why we had, actually, I know that's why we had students enroll while I was on maternity leave. And so honestly, you guys, this is the dream. This is what I could have only dreamt of when I became an entrepreneur, is I'd be able to take 3 months off, get to spend those 3 months with my new baby and my husband, and just enjoy being a mom, and also learn. There were so many things to learn, like, my goodness. I think I had maybe not felt this overwhelmed as I did like the first week or two of being a parent, as I had it probably, I can't even remember the last time, but it's like literally like learning how to ride a bike. Like, you're like, how do I feed this baby? How do I try to breastfeed? How do I use this pump? Like, how do I do all of these things? And so just figuring all of that out, I don't think it was an option to take maternity leave. I had to take that time off to be able to learn all of those things, to be able to bond with my baby, and just to feel like, I truly got to enjoy those first 12 weeks with her and having no interruptions. And so that was really, really important to me. Um, but the dream was, really, can I take these 3 months off and still make money and still have my business thrive and not be in a place where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to spend the next year catching up because I took these 3 months off? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. You just have to prepare before you take your maternity leave. And that's what I'm here to tell you is if you have all of these things, whether maybe you're a solopreneur listening to this and you don't have any help, so maybe you want to take a maternity leave, hire one person to help you. What was also beautiful was there was a lot of things for a while that I've been wanting to get my team to help me more with. And I hadn't had time to talk to them about that or train them. And so when I brought them, when my virtual assistant, she had been working like 20 hours a week for me. During my maternity leave, she went up to 30 hours. And so I had her do more with, kind of checking emails in my inbox and getting them to the right people and things like that, helping with my calendar, helping with some behind the scenes things with our email automations. And what was beautiful is, now that I'm back, I kept a lot of my staff with those added responsibilities that they took on during maternity leave. I'm keeping them with those responsibilities now. And so that's something where I can now be a working mother who has her own $1 million business and has the support so that I don't have to work or need to or want to work a full 40 hours a week. I can I have the nanny 3 days a week. So that's 24 working hours I get during a week. And my business can still thrive. And I can feel that I'm able to nurture my child and my family in the way I need and want to. And she's crying, by the way. She's with the nanny right now. I don't know if you can hear her, but maybe you can. And that just adds some fun to this podcast recording. So we'll definitely have more conversations about this, but I just wanted to share my thoughts as I'm back. I've been back to work. This is my 5th day back to work now. And it, in some ways, feels like I never left. In other ways, there's a lot going on in my head where, being absent for 3 months, and I was still checking my email. I was still handling some things that I felt like I needed to personally handle, but maybe that was like an hour or two, max a day. And so that's what I decided I needed, at a certain point in my maternity leave. I kind of needed that mental stimulation. And because I had this time away to just fully focus on my personal life, I was also able just to let myself think and dream. And I thought of so many ideas that I'll be sharing with you guys soon, but just I think really exciting, new, fun ideas to add to my Master the Media program to offer new students. And I also figured out a lot of problem solving. There's things that I think I hadn't ever previously had time to just to stop and think about. And I was like, you know what, this thing that we're doing isn't super efficient. This other thing we can streamline even more. And so now that I'm back, I feel like I'm even more efficient and productive because I have that time where I can just let my mind think. And that's when when I have a moment, even sometimes like in the shower, when I'm walking, I allow myself that freedom to think and dream and think of those really great ideas for my business. And that's what I'm really excited to be back and to be bringing to you guys and the Master the Media community. So if you haven't already grabbed your spot for our free upcoming masterclass on October 22nd, go and do that at masterthemedia.co/masterclass. If you're listening to this after October 22nd, go to that URL anyway, and we'll give you the replay. So I'll see you next time.